You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Guten Tag, Fräuleins, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Zach. Adam, if I start calling us the best X-Men podcast, just like go full heel. It'd be like, we're the best, everyone else sucks.
Well, that's not nice. I don't.
It's
like
what's
that.
implied by saying we're the best. That's all. I'm trying to get your feel.
We're the best.
Much
like Wolverine, we are the best at what we do, which is ranking every X-Men story from A to Z.
We are better at that than literally anyone else.
That's right.
I say this with all the love in the world to all of our guests. We're better at that part than our guests are when they rank things. Well, that's nothing against our guests. We just do it more.
Yeah, I mean, how often does someone get thrust into like a 1,000 entry long Excel spreadsheet and being asked to like plug things in? I mean, come on. It's our spreadsheet.
I'm not saying it's not reasonable for us to be the best. I'm just saying that we are the best at what we do.
Yeah. So, Zach,
that has nothing. That's not actually a lead into the stories. I like having. This. That was just a pitch that I had that we could spice up.
Potential kayfabe, like just
spice up kayfabe, buddy.
You're starting to, pick fights backstage. Like interviews. Zach, how you feeling tonight? Well, I'm feeling like I'm the best. I'm the best of the X-Men podcasts.
I'm gonna put Connor in a headlock, and then I am going to do a tombstone pile driver on Jay Editon. That's what I'm gonna do. Yes, that's me cutting a promo backstage. I don't know other X-Men podcasters, or else I would say that I'll do wrestling moves to them.
That's okay. I don't think there's any wrestling in this week's episodes, but we are. What is our? The way this show works is requests. We
should talk about themes and requests and things like that. Because here's the thing: the way this show works, for those of you who are coming in, maybe you were like, "Well, I like these other X-Men podcasts. Now I want to see what else is out there in the atmosphere," and are already turned off in the first 2.5 minutes. Well,
you're like, these guys are jerks. They think they're better than everybody.
Listen, we just don't. No, I guess I did say it out loud.
Zach, you know what we're doing? We're practicing.
I'm sorry. I've had a long week, Adam. I'm distracted. Let me get focused.
Zach,
here.
First of all, you're in Wisconsin, which, I mean, God knows. And then who knows how much cheese you've eaten?
Very little. I'm going to be honest. I did have a cheeseburger today.
There you go. But here's what I want to say is that all you're doing, this is in the spirit of this episode, you're just practicing the Krakoan religion of the spark, which is you're trying new things, and that's all you were doing there. So,
I was. Thank you, Adam, for taking this back. Because here's the way, folks, if you're trying new things and this is your first episode, this is what the podcast is. It's two guys who are distracting themselves from doing the actual show. No, it is. We take requests from our great people over on patreon.com/battleoftheatom who have dug deep down into the hearts and pocketbooks and tossed a couple of coins right into our coffers. You know what $5 gets you at the comic shop?
Oh, maybe an issue? I mean, it depends.
Not after tax, buddy.
Depends.
Not after tax.
Yeah.
I don't care what this big, beautiful bill is saying. You can't get a comic for $5 these days. There is some extra change there. They're getting rid of those pennies. So now you got to round this up. I don't know how people are going to deal with it.
I don't know.
But if you go and give $5 to patreon.com/battleoftheatom, we will craft a bespoke episode of podcast around one of your ideas, one of your stories, one of your suggestions, and turn it into this beautiful orb of thoughts and pure energy.
Yeah.
And men who've been on the road for too long and just are like getting through it.
Just like one of the many orbs on strings that follow Mother Righteous around, you know? And
Thank you for picking that up, Adam, because that is where I was going with the orbs.
Is it? Okay.
Folks,
But
yeah, it was. We're not talking about Mother Righteous in general this week. But
we are.
We are. I mean, she is present. We are talking about somebody who is red, like this red woman, specifically because of Patreon supporter, Red. No details. It may be the mid-2000s, early 2010s Christian rock band. If the entire band got together and did that, do you have any idea who I'm talking about? They were a crossover hit.
No, that never crossed over into me, into my life.
Well, in 2006, their song "Breathe Into Me" became a very popular crossover hit.
Oh, when a Christian band,
your life into me, I can feel you. Yeah,
when a Christian band has a crossover hit, is that like special for them? Do they feel extra special because they had a crossover? Sorry, that was bad.
No, that's really funny. I'm laughing.
That. They deserved it.
Listen, as a connoisseur of early 2000s Christian rock.
Oh, wow.
Listen.
Hey, it wasn't ska. You were, you know.
Okay, hold on. But generally, MXPX and the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones were... not Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. Who am I thinking of that was the Christian ska band?
Wait, MXPX is a Christian band? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, they are.
What?
That's not even... Yeah, that's...
I'm looking this up.
That's right. I'm thinking of Five Iron Frenzy and the OC Supertones. I do not know how they categorize themselves now, but they were on...
Wow.
They were on Christian labels. Yeah, like they were...
Wow. MXPX is a pop-punk band. Yeah, that many of their early releases touch on Christian themes and place them in the
they were on
Christian punk scene. Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, they were on Tooth and Nail Records, which, here's what I'll say. Hold on, because we're going to talk about we're going to reveal what the actual...
Yeah, we haven't even said what the theme is. We just said...
Hold on, because now you've got me down a little rabbit hole. Say what you will about Christian music. It's generally bad. Hank Hill was right. You aren't making Christianity better. You're just making rock and roll worse, generally. However, the label Tooth and Nail in the early 2000s was doing some of the coolest and most innovative stuff in alt-rock emo that you could possibly have, including some bands specifically on their Solid State Records imprint, like Under Oath, He Is Legend, Me Without You, Norma Jean, that were some of the best and brightest and coolest. Emery, Anne Berlin, As Cities Burn, buddy, there are some fantastic... POD, not that they were a good band, but POD, you know, Boom, Here Comes the Boom, Ready or Not, Here Comes the Boys from the South. You know them.
These are all Christian bands?
Yeah.
Oh.
Family Force 5 was not good, but I think they're funny.
Wait. Okay, so it's called Tooth and Nail Records. I get the nails. Where'd the tooth come from?
I don't know how...
Does Jesus have special teeth that I don't know about?
I mean,
is there a Jesus dental story that I don't know?
Not... Maybe in the Apocrypha. I'm not as familiar with that. But no, I do not know of specific Jesus dental stories.
What is this week's theme, Zach? Because we got to get back on the right path here.
We do have to get back on the right path here. Anyway, all I'm saying is that even though nearly all of the good ones do not categorize themselves as Christian bands anymore because they were just going through some stuff in the early 2000s like all of us were, Tooth and Nail Solid State Records had some actually killer acts that I have seen live within the last 24 months.
I'm going to take your word for it.
Amberlin, well, they had a new singer. We're not going to get into the bands that I've seen live in the last little bit, but it was a good time. Anyway, we're talking about Cy Spurrier this week. I'm sorry, guys. We got really distracted.
Yes, we are talking about Cy Spurrier stories, and we are starting with the book that not Way of X, but what comes after Way of X during the Krakoan era. This is Legion of X, and we're gonna talk about the first half of this book. It was 10 issues, but we're just talking about issues 1 through 5.
Yeah, This is written by Cy Spurrier with art by Jan Bazadula.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get that right?
I think it's Bazaldua, but I don't know where to put the emphasis. But Jan, great
I don't
artist
speak
for
Portuguese.
this. It's a nice, like, kind of cartoony style. Really works kind of well in sync with like what David Baldian was doing with Excalibur. Like they're in the same universe, you know. Marcus Toe.
I like Jan's work. Like I
I
liked
do
it
too.
back in like Mr. and Mrs. X.
Mhm.
I like it here. Plenty of good stuff going on.
Sure. So for folks who didn't read the absolutely terrible Way of X and the Onslaught one shot that comes right before this, really, I don't want to talk about that, but it left a very bad taste in all of our mouths and didn't really make a lot of us excited for where it was going. Especially because really the pitch of this book is that Nightcrawler is leading like Krakoa cops.
Religious Krakoa cops.
Religious-
Legionnaires, if you would.
Yeah. And
Here's what I'm going to say.
oh boy.
Didn't read the room. Just it legitimately not what the book's actually about. The book is not about the American police force and lionizing it at all. But boy, the pitches did not help.
No, because the book is really about way too much stuff. Like, you know, a lot of the Krakoa books want to try and throw a lot at the wall and try and seed things for, 15 issues out, 20 issues out, 30 issues out, whatever it may be. You really do get the sense that Sai thinks he's got a lot of runway to work with here. This is a
feels like it was supposed to have a lot more runway.
Yeah, this is a book that only lasts for 10 issues. And so the amount of stuff, well, first of all, the amount of characters that are in just these first 5 issues is insane. The Legionnaires or Legionaries are made up of everybody from Legion, Blindfold, Fabian Cortez, Nightcrawler, Lost, Zorn, Gorgon, Chamber, Maggot, Pixie, Dr. Nemesis, Zorn, Dust, Forget Me Not, Juggernaut, Banshee. You've got Mother Righteous here appearing for the first time. And a new Ayako character named Weaponless Zen. And that's not even getting into all of the Ayako stuff that is going to get started because this book's adversary is a really great one from X-Men Red, which is the Arbitrix Aura Serrata, the Witness.
You're misremembering.
Is this
Aura Serrata?
Is from this?
Aura Serrata comes from this.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, the whole group was working together, so they were like, okay, who should be on the council? But if you go read X-Men Red, at least the first few issues, the issues that came out before Legion of X, Aura Serrata is not in the council seats.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, I'm forgetting about the publishing story. So first thing, I'll hand it to this book. It's already in these first 5 issues a much better reading experience than Way of X. Right?
Yes.
Like that book was terrible. It had some really awful things in it that were very objectionable. And this is definitely pulling back on a lot of those things.
Now, Kurt, we were talking about this a bit off mic. I almost feel like, because we did this almost exact same thing when we talked about Uncanny Spider-Man a few months back.
Yeah.
I feel like Way of X left such an annoyed bad taste in all of our mouths. Like you, me, I'm not going to speak for a lot of our friends, but for a lot of our friends, that I feel like perhaps we then looked at Cy Spurrier's further work in the X office with a bit more disdain than we really should have, and may not have given it the shot that it was really doing. I'm not saying all of this works all that well. In fact, I think Legion of X 1 through 5 is kind of an absolute mess of a comic, but
it's pretty messy.
It is a comic that is trying to do too many things in too small of a package.
Yes.
And I've said this for 5, 6, 7, however long we've been doing this podcast. I'd rather a book take a big swing and miss than do something safe and boring and like succeed at safe and boring. No, I want to see them try something. And Cy Spurrier is trying to do a detective mystery on like 8 different fronts, all intersecting, building new cultures, building new systems within Krakoa, while still being somewhat character driven. And that breaks down under the weight of everything that he's trying to do in here. But he is trying.
It's tough because what he's trying to do is continue the Nightcrawler story, but in a new, friendlier, sexier direction, which I appreciated. Right?
It's Nightcrawler's got it.
He's more in character. He's more romantic.
We're not going to relitigate Way of X, but Nightcrawler now has his head back on his shoulders and knows what he's doing.
Yes. But because this is a Spurrier thing, this is also a Stealth Legion book. So he's continuing X-Men legacy, the story of his favorites, Legion and Ruth Blindfold, who we'll talk a little bit more about later in this episode. And so you've got both of these happening. Now, if the core of this story, which I really enjoyed, where you have the giant eyeball being ridden by a baby with antenna, who
a
is
slug baby,
who
it's
is
a slug baby,
yeah, or a Serata, who
love
is,
Aura Serata, by the way,
yes, who sends weaponless Zen to hang out with Nightcrawler to investigate a rogue god that they need to arrest and destroy. Well, Aura is going to destroy it because there are no gods on Ayako. That alone,
well, the gods can be on Ayako. They are not. Ayako is not an atheistic society. They are also not an anti-theist society. They just haven't found a god that's good enough.
Yeah, because what they do is they summon the gods that people believe in, and then they have to fight in the Great Ring, and then inevitably those gods die, which is a really great conceit. Like, that's a really smart, fun thing.
That is so good for Ayako to be like, hey, we're fine with having gods. You just have to be good enough for us. Like, Ayako has standards, and yes. I love that for them. It's why it is shocking that Krakoa was such an interesting, varied, and like well-developed setting, and then they did it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we've talked about that with X-Men Red. I mean, the world building there is incredibly well done, and this contributes.
This contributes like a lot to it. Like, yes. I want to give Spurrier his flowers where deserved. And I feel like he's doing a lot to set up the differences between Arakan culture and Krakoan.
Yes. The problem is that the amount of other stuff that Spurrier is trying to do in this book is just, it's voluminous. It's just way too much. You've got Juggernaut and Forget-Me-Not trying to solve their own mystery. There's another mystery involving this body hopping guy called Skinjacker. You've got the introduction of Mother Righteous that's happening. So, and not to mention Mother Righteous turns Banshee into a Ghost Rider at a certain point.
Can we talk about Mother Righteous for a second? I want to get actually to all of those topics.
Okay.
1, Mother Righteous turning Banshee into a Ghost Rider is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, and is never paid off and doesn't make any sense, and I have no idea where it even would be going. It's just...
It's very strange. It just seems like very out of left field and doesn't pay off in any way.
I know that you don't like Mother Righteous in general.
I hated her less after the Sinister reveal, and she's actually a more interesting character in the Fall of X. But in the beginning, it's like, what is this character? And why is she
an incredible Jamie McKelvey design?
Yeah, great design.
Here's what I find interesting about Mother Righteous. She is very much the Scarlet Woman, Babylona, like she is the, what am I trying to say? The Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard, like sex magic goddess. That's what she is. You know about that story, right? Where L. Ron Hubbard had an orgy to try and summon her?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Yeah. From Department of Truth. A real thing that happened.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's her. Also wild that Department of Truth, one of the biggest Image comics going on, they're like, yeah, we'll also do that. Like, at the same time, maybe read the room, guys, and like, we already have one red woman. We don't need multiple. Love her design. I don't hate her here, but she also doesn't do much. Like, she's taking up page space, and there was marketing stuff that we knew she was supposed to be a, quote, big deal. Mm-hmm. But she doesn't really pay off on any of that during this, and she is for the core skinjacker god story irrelevant. Like if you were going to rewrite and knew you only had these 5 issues, you would cut her out immediately.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like if this was just a 5-issue mini, you'd be like, this is too much. This is like easy chop.
Yeah, it's like, because the reveal is that she's secret. Well, the reveal is Orosoreda is behind all of this stuff, but actually the Red Woman, Mother Righteous, is behind Orosoreda on some of this stuff.
Right, because Orosoreda created the god, the trickster god.
Well, brought the god there
to sow chaos.
Yes. Now, here's the other thing. We talked about the Banshee thing. That's insane. Doesn't work. I don't know. I get the idea of, hey, Moira wore me as a skin suit. That's going to upset me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to want vengeance.
He's also taken over by the Skinjackers. So like he's not having a good week.
I know we're not talking about the skin suit thing, but people act like Moira is like crazy evil for that. I think of that exactly as funny as I think of Daken being turned into a happy birthday sign. Like, honestly, when I first saw the skin Moira Banshee thing, I laughed out loud. That was the funniest thing that you could possibly do, because
it's pretty interesting. Pretty great moment.
It's great. And it's like, it's Moira's practical. Well, what else am I going to do here? Like, this works. It doesn't matter. Banshee's fine. Banshee's not mad that he got skinned alive. He's mad that the woman that he thought he loved betrayed him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, you talk about like Forget Me Not, who they do a running gag with, which honestly, and I say this with love, that character is less interesting the more and more you bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so many times you can say, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" Like, we get it. He can't be there every issue.
Yeah, like he has some of the most diminishing returns. Yeah. It was great when he first appears. That's a great character. It's great when he shows up in X-Force later, because it's like, yeah, I've been here this whole time. You just haven't noticed.
Right.
That's funny to me that they did it again. When he is an active participant in the story at all times, like this, and then later in X Factor, doesn't work.
No. There's some good Juggernaut stuff in here.
It's good. It's just, here's the thing. It is all, Cy Spurrier is trying to give all these characters mini arcs through this.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels a little superfluous.
Yeah.
It is all a distraction from the main story, which is about Nightcrawler and Weaponless Zen investigating this.
Yes.
This Skinjacker thing. Now, there's also a whole subplot with Legion and the Altar, and I think all that's fine and nice and good. But again, it is incremental developments that feel like they were made for a 25-issue run, not for a 10-issue run.
No.
And unfortunately, Legion of X is not the only book of Reign of X, or what was this?
Destiny of X
that suffers from this.
Yes.
Keeney Howard's Knights of X has the same problem, if not worse.
Yep. Trying to set up too much and not realizing they're not going to get the runs that they got from the first time around.
And I do not necessarily blame the creative team on that. That's a Marvel corporate, like, stand behind this product or don't. Like,
right. Yeah, but this is where we're going, and
that's not how you tell stories. It was really bad at this point when they were doing between this and Fall of X, when they were like, we're only going to give books 4 issues.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like
insane.
they needed more time to breathe. So I want to give credit to two other Nightcrawler things real quick here. Because it does feel like Spurrier is backpedaling on some of the misreads of this character from the first miniseries. So the first one is a throwaway line in a scene where Weaponless Zen asks Nightcrawler whether he's a priest or not. And Cy Spurrier very much is like, even Nightcrawler's confused about that, which I thought was pretty nice. The other scene that I really think is worth pointing out is, I think it's issue 4, that is punctuated by Weaponless Zen and Kurt like repeatedly having sex and having conversations post-coitus. Like, is used to kind of bookmark the chapters of that issue. And that's a really smart thing to do. It's even used to distract Nightcrawler later in the story towards the end, like that she tires him out, so that he's not even coming out of bed. I just think it's good and refreshing to see Nightcrawler being sexy.
It
And
is.
I appreciate that Spurrier at least like knows that that's a core part of this character. It seems like Spurrier like took note of the response to the first mini and took some notes, and made some changes.
To be fair to that first mini, which I've not reread and probably won't until somebody pays us $5. Textually, that mini was about like Kurt not being in a good place and trying to figure out where he belonged in places. However, I do not think that was well executed, and some things came across weird. Also, I feel like there were some truly buck wild things in that first mini, specifically that Hellfire Gala issue, specifically the floor babies of Fuck Island.
Yeah, it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing in Krakoa. I think
it's the worst thing. I love those floor babies, though.
No, you don't. You don't love the floor babies.
No, their hedonistic mutant parents don't love them. I love the floor babies. The floor babies deserve all the love in the world. They aren't a good idea. No, I just love the actual floor babies. I want them to have a good life.
Yeah. I mean, that alone is what.
Remember when one of the floor babies got kidnapped by surfers?
Yep. Yeah, I do remember that. God, terrible idea. All right. So I feel like we've given this series a lot of credit. Is there anything we missed?
I have one thing that I think we have missed, and I want to, because part of why it's a mess in my mind. I'm already not a huge fan of mysteries that you can't logic out because they're using magic and powers and all this stuff where they're making up the rules as you go along. Like,
right.
I feel like that is anathema to a good mystery story where you should be able to figure it out a page before the detective figures it out. Like, you should be able to put this together, and that is impossible with this story. Because all the rules are out the window because it's all magic and all this stuff. I also feel like from a storytelling perspective, the Skinjacker thing turns out to be a mutant character called Switch, who, Adam, you remember Switch from the New Hellions, right?
Nope.
Great. I also don't remember Switch from the New Hellions. The Switch from the New Hellions is not a visually distinct character and also is not visually distinct in the comic, such that I can't tell if a character is Switch or not. And maybe that was intentional to build up the mystery, but also it means that I have no idea what's going on.
Right. It's all based on the dialogue, not the visual.
But the dialogue, if you're going to do that, then do some sort of lettering. Like, they try and keep it hidden for too long, and then you never know what's going on. And then this Switch character doesn't, like, it makes the whole story and the whole crux of the mystery fall flat, because I'm like, wait, even going back and knowing the twist ahead, what's happening here?
Yeah. It's like, there's just too much. It's too convoluted. So
this is just too much comic.
Yes. I don't think it's bad, but I actually enjoyed, this for the most part, but I don't think this is nearly as high as some of the other stuff, that we've talked about from Krakoa before. So I'm talking about high and low because we have a big old list. Zach, what is this big old list?
Well, that's the important thing about this podcast. We talk about the best, the worst, the everything in between of all X-Men. We are ranking them from best to worst. We have ranked 1,056 X-Men comics, and we're not stopping now.
Jeez, so many.
It's too many. Guys, don't do this. Don't start a podcast to rank every X-Men comic. Because
we're already doing it for you.
We are, and it would be, honestly, I would be a little upset at somebody if they just, it's not about copying the concept of the idea, because I stole this concept of the idea when we started this podcast. I've told you that I stole this idea, right, Adam?
Of course, but not about just X-Men stories.
Not about just X-Men, yes. I don't know where I was going with that. Again, went on a tangent, lost it.
Don't steal our show idea, and what's the list?
Don't steal, or do. I'm not the religious police of Krakoa. I'm not a legionnaire. They aren't religious police. They're at best detectives. Anyway, top story is House of X Powers of 10. That's the best X-Men story of all time. The 250th X-Men story, the best 250th one, is that time that Dazzler and Juggernaut fought, and Juggernaut is a big fan of Dazzler, and we all know what that means. The 500th best X-Men story is Nightcrawler 8 through 12, Bloody Bess and the Shadow King. The 750th best X-Men story is Weapon X-Force. That is not the story where Omega Red has a tiger.
Oh.
The 1000th best X-Men story, and best is really strong words here, Tomorrow Never Learns by from Wolverine in the X-Men Volume 2. And then the worst X-Men story of all time is 2099 Word of Tomorrow. Okay, here's the thing, Adam.
Well, I'm looking at 500, the last five issues, of Chris Claremont and Todd Knox Nightcrawler. I think that's better than this.
I also think that is better than this. Now, we have one other Cy Spurrier Krakoa comic on this list. It's at 312 right now. It's Uncanny Spider-Man and X-Men Blue Origin. It's not I would say that is right on this list. This is a significantly worse story than that. However, this is not as nonsensical as Weapon X-Force, a comic where I'm like, oh no, they did a character assassination on Reverend William Stryker.
Yeah. I mean,
it shouldn't be a devil worshiper, though it is funny that he is. I'll give him that. 600
is Girl School from Heck. Is this better than that? Or are we in the 600s?
It is better than Girl School from Heck, and I don't care if there's Excalibur people that are going to be angry with us.
All right, so
I don't have to deal with any angry Excalibur people in my house.
I think we are probably at 565 is Nightcrawler Volume 4, number 1 through 4.
Which one's Nightcrawler Volume 4?
I don't know. Is that the one where he's like mopey?
I mean, maybe. No, that's the start of the Claremont Todd Knox arc.
Oh, okay.
This is better than that.
This is better than the first 4 issues.
It's
This is better than the first 3 issues of New Excalibur at 561.
This is not better than X-Men Blue Cry Havoc, an arc that is not good, but is also trying to do too much and failing.
Then I would say we should put that this story, Legion of X, should go right below that, which would put it above the X-Men versus the Avengers, number 1 through 4, which has an interesting start, but a 4th issue that kind of derails the story.
A truly insane ending. Yeah. 559, Legion of X, 1 through 5. Hey,
nice.
Adam.
Hi.
Did you know that Cy Spurrier has written X-Men comics before that?
Sure has.
Did you know that I generally liked most of those comics?
Me too, with some, some asterisks here and there on certain things, but I'd never heard of this next one. This is 2008 Wolverine Dangerous Games.
This is one of those Wolverine one-shots they were doing when they were just doing a bunch of Wolverine one-shots. Thing that they kind of have always been doing and always will do.
Yeah. This is Spurrier writing, penciled and inked by Ben Oliver, and then it has a backup short by Remender and Opeña.
This is one of the first things that Spurrier did. He worked on a book called Silver Surfer in Thy Name that I've never read, but that had Takenouchi on it. So actually, I kind of think I might want to go read that. It sounds like it would be my jam. But this is his first X-Men-y thing. The 5th comic he did for Marvel. Cy Spurrier did other things before this. You don't just start at Marvel. But
it's kind of wild how close this is with that one issue of Teenie Howard's Excalibur that involves a fox hunt for werewolves.
It's
not that.
I thought the same thing, but then again, that's a very guy who has only seen one movie, seeing his second movie and saying I'm getting a lot of Boss Baby vibes from this. Like, I've only ever seen one other thing about fox hunting. So yeah, probably I'm getting those vibes.
Well, fox hunting has been made illegal. And Mother Britain, I guess. And so
was this a topical thing in 2008? I wasn't keeping up with fox hunting regulations.
I guess it might be for Cy Spurrier, coming from the UK. So
yes. So, okay, hold on. Here's the legality of Fox.
Yeah.
It was prohibited in 2004, but remains legal in Northern Ireland.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, so essentially what happens
Tony
here.
Blair regrets the Fox Hunting Act.
Oh, yeah.
So screw Tony Blair. We don't make political statements on this podcast all that much because we're talking about different things, but screw Tony Blair.
These, well, there's two levels to this story. One is that Wolverine gets asked by some hippies in Louisiana to go stop some fox hunters who have come to Louisiana to fox hunt, only for it to turn out that the whole thing is a ruse so that the lead hunter can do a most dangerous game and hunt Wolverine.
Also hunt the hippies.
Yeah, but like, it's interesting because I feel like there were other stories where, like, what's that one story with that guy who like trains his whole life so that he can fight Wolverine and be the best that he is? What is that guy's name? You know what I'm talking about?
No, that sounds like, and I say this with love, the most generic Wolverine story I've ever heard.
Oh, but it's he wants to be the best there is. What was?
Are you talking about Mr. X?
Yes, Mr. X. Yes. And like, this has a similar vibe to that because this British guy like wants to, hunt Wolverine because he's like, he's the most dangerous game. I don't know.
Marvel already has a most dangerous game guy, and his name's Kraven the Hunter. They just made a movie about it that no one watched.
Yeah. Like, if this was a Kraven story, that could be interesting. The villain in this is very Sir Damian Spencer. And my other issue.
Cy Spurrier is very British, and this comic is legitimately too British for me.
It's
like
very British.
I cannot get invested in the fox huntingness of this. I'm like, one. Also, I can get behind thinking that the British aristocracy sucks. Like,
sure.
Count me in for that.
Yeah,
on for that ride. And I'm not saying that fox hunting is a good thing at all. I'm not defending fox hunting. I'm just happening to say that there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and like this is a hard one for me to get like, oh, this is the big tragedy that we're dealing with. It's a hard one for me to get behind even in 2008. Like, yeah, I get it. You're not wrong. We should get rid of it. Tony Blair was right to sign the Get Rid of Fox Hunting Act. Just like, it's weird for me to get emotionally invested because I don't have the cultural connection to it, Yeah,
I think the other thing that's weird about this issue is because, I mean, we were just talking about Spurrier like overcomplicating his plots, right? And putting too much in. The way in which this story is told is out of order. So it is told both in present and in flashback, but out of order. Like, it's not told sequentially in flashback. Those flashbacks are in different orders than how it is. So he's trying very desperately to be very clever in his delivery of the story.
Pages.
And it's detrimental to the story than to just tell it sequentially.
And I get it because this is a very basic story, like generally.
Sure.
It is the most. Oh, wait, it's called Wolverine Dangerous Games. Okay. Sorry. I did just make that connection of the most dangerous game. Like, that's what he's doing.
That is exactly what he's doing. Yes.
I knew that they were doing the most dangerous game. I didn't get that they named the comic Most Dangerous Game. I get it. You want to, if you're going to do that story, you want to juice it up a bit. You want to add a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of like structural intrigue to it. It just doesn't really work in this specific comic.
No, and the backup story is Remender basically saying that, I don't know, Wolverine was trying to hang out with a monk and like be chill, but then like a gang, tries to.
It's a weird
come and kill him.
It is a weird Wolverine in Japan story.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure it is set in Thailand, not Japan, but same vibes about like honor and purity and all this stuff.
There's
And
a lady he's romancing that turns out to be the person who's in charge of the ninjas, and it's like,
it's a
okay,
whole tiger
whatever.
situation.
Yeah, I didn't. Listen. Both these stories are drawn pretty well.
That one's by
Comic,
Jerome Pena. It looks
yeah,
great.
comic looks good. But it's kind of just a dud. Like these both could be just like generic Wolverine. They are generic Wolverine
It is
stories that I feel like I've read other places.
what I'll say it is not the worst Rick Remender backup story that is collected in Uncanny X-Force trade paperbacks for some reason. That's the Deadpool one. The Deadpool one's really, truly atrociously bad.
Where do you think this goes on the list?
I mean, not super high. Like, it shows some sparks of like, okay, Spurrier could be an interesting guy. But this isn't like, this is worse than Legion of X, I feel.
Oh, definitely. At $5.99, we have Wolverine's Revenge, Wolverine 10 through 14.
Wolverine's Revenge. Wait, which one's Wolverine's Revenge?
God, he's revenged so many times. Is
that,
this better?
That is just such a hard comic man.
Listen, this is not as good as Wolverine Global Jeopardy.
Wolverine's Revenge was a video game, so this is actually really
that's tricky.
Hurting me. It was a pretty decent video game, if I remember right. I only had it on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah. But listen, I'm going to solve this for us.
I did play the PS2 version of it. Oh, this is when Wolverine's getting revenge for Wolverine going to hell, the comic where Wolverine goes to hell. And he fights the
that's
Red
what I
Right
thought.
Hand.
Yeah,
the Red Right Hand stuff is better than this.
Yeah, I would agree. This is not as good as at 640 Wolverine Global Jeopardy, because that has that great Devil Dinosaur cameo.
It does have that great Devil Dinosaur cameo in it. I'm looking down this list. This isn't as good as Weapon X, the Draft Sauron at 701.
No, but we're getting closer, I think. Like that's about the same quality as what we're looking at here.
Yeah, because like this is better than Blood Ties, which is at 725.
Yes, I would agree.
I'm gonna make a statement.
Yeah.
Not as good as X Corp.
No.
That's at 722.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it compared to Warhawk?
They're about the same.
We'll put it at the new 723 above Uncanny X-Men number 110.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fairly forgettable, if well crafted one shot.
Mildly well crafted.
Yes, I would say
it's got well crafted elements to it.
Yeah,
but does not come together as a cohesive whole.
Now, our third story today is one that we have covered the majority of this title. I think this,
which I was surprised. I'd forgot that we'd covered the majority of this.
Yeah, this is one of the remaining arcs that we have not talked about, which is X-Men Legacy Volume 2, 7 through 9. I think is what
7
we're
through
covering.
9.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're kind of in between arcs with these. One of them is kind of a standalone issue. The other 2, 8 and 9, are kind of tied together a little bit more.
They're a loose connection of one shots with a thematic tie of David's relationship with Ruth.
Yes.
Blindfold. Now, yes. I think one thing that gets general readers, and even myself sometimes, like, hey, this feels a little weird, is that Ruth is a kid at the school and David is David Haller. And I'm like, yeah, so he's like a full-grown adult, right? And he's not.
No.
He's just from the 80s. He's just from 80s comics.
Yeah, I mean,
if young compared to the New Mutants, you know?
Yeah, if Cyclops is quote-unquote still in his 20s in 2025, which I don't agree with, then David Haller can still be pretty young. You know?
Like, it's just...
I know.
It is hard after Age of Apocalypse to think of David Haller as a young kid.
Yes. But
even though, like, he was written as, like, there's... If you go back and think of all the times that he is written, he's never written as, like, more than 18, you know?
No, that's true. So for folks who may not have heard our episodes where we talk about this book or haven't read it, David is the scenario that Spurrier sets up is that David's myriad personalities are kind of in like a brain prison of sorts, and he has figured out a way to access their powers. But there's also Professor X looking creature that is inside of his brain that is causing havoc.
Yeah. This is about David's guilt about being Charles Xavier's legacy and how he feels
Yes.
about that in dealing with things with his dad. And if you could imagine, there were a handful of millennial comics fans who related to this.
It's a very well done series. Issue
Good enough that Noah Hawley made the best Marvel thing ever out of it.
Yeah. All three of these are drawn by Tanang Huat, who, is really a singular and interesting artist that brings a certain visual feel to these
Draws the
issues.
heck out of these issues, honestly.
I think it looks
Like,
great.
if someone said they didn't like his art, I'd say, I believe you. I believe that you think that that's true. But really is fantastic. Also, Adam, I'm going to send you because I was just thinking, hey, I wonder what Tan's actually doing right now. I'm going to send you a picture of a Bloodscream that he drew a month ago.
Oh,
You know Bloodscream, the Wolverine villain?
no,
Like,
I don't think I know that character.
you know Bloodscream. Click on it, you'll see the picture, and you're like, oh, yes, that's a Bloodscream.
Oh, that's great.
Right? Like, his stuff, I'm just looking through this right now. It's killer.
Very talented. So issue 7 is specifically about David infiltrating the Church of the Happy Host, which is a group of like fundamentalists, anti-mutanists who he tricks into thinking he is not a mutant, only to be encountering Sword. Not Sword, but yeah,
No,
Sword.
it's Sword.
Yeah,
It's
Sword
It's
shows up
Abigail
with
Brandon's Sword.
yeah.
Because they're saying that he's doing or will do space crimes.
Yes.
There is a little bit. If someone said that there is a little bit of twee portal type humor in this, they wouldn't be wrong. And your mileage will vary if you can tolerate that or not.
He does a great job of making a punchline out of Sidran. He's picking up, because I think Gillen set this up before, that like Sidran is the telepath, but he's bad at it. And like, I feel like Spurrier really does get some really good mileage out of that.
That works. One thing about Spurrier, and this is constant throughout all of his work, you're either going to like his dialogue or you're not.
Yeah.
No one's going to say he doesn't write a lot. If he got paid by the word, he would be
doing all right.
He would be in competition. He'd be doing just fine for himself. But it is about this. It starts about this church, and that was the church that kind of radicalized Ruth's brother, Luca.
Right.
So there's a lot about that she gets involved as a ghost, and she's already been prophesied to be David's nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
But they also like each other, so they start dating, which is interesting. And that leads into their first date, where David's really just going all out and talking about his relationship with his dad and like how he feels like he needs to have his own way of solving the mutant problem and like how mutants are treated. And one of his ideas is to use this kid named Santi Sardina, who has the greatest. Cy Spurrier can just make some mutants with some great powers, like really can. And Santi's one of them.
Yeah, Santi is the character. We've talked about this character before, who has the mutant power to, not because he wants it, he actually doesn't want it, but his mutant power is to take credit for something that's happening near him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what it is, whether he's in class and someone else solves a math problem. Sandy, good job. There's a crime that gets committed and or is being committed, and the superhero swoops in, saves them. Good job, Santi. Like, that's a fun idea.
It's great. It's very much played as like an Iska the Unbeaten type curse with him. And it gets to a point where Ruth's like, hey, this seems like a really interesting plan and probably would work. Also, aren't you just using this mutant in a way he doesn't want to be used, in a very similar way that you are complaining about your father doing to a lot of impressionable teens? And David's like, you're making some good points, love.
Well, and then he takes it a step further in issue 9. And
issue 9 is one of my, like, I really like this issue.
He is on a date with Ruth. They are suddenly beamed up to the moon. And he starts having this really philosophical debate about, hey, there's this terrible villain named Arcus who lives up here. And if we don't do something, I know that Arcus is going to go and kill the X-Men and really do terrible things. So should we stop him? And the
Well,
punchline is he already did.
here's the thing, and Spurrier sets this up in a really smart way during this comic, because when they get transported to the moon, Ruth is like, okay, what are you doing? Like, you're this all power thing. Are you going to get naked and turn blue and start like, are you good? Are you doing a Watchman on me,
Yes.
David? Are you
Yeah.
doing a Watchman on me? And he's like, no, I'm not doing a Watchman on you. And then he did it 35 minutes ago, which is
Yes.
such a good punchline to this. Anyway, Adam, do you know about Arcus?
Arcus is a Silver Age villain, right?
No, he is not a
No?
Silver Age villain. He is a Golden Age hero. He is
Oh.
the Vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like the Golden Age Vision. The one that we don't talk about because it's not that interesting, but Roy Thomas liked him.
Well, and I had seen something when I was reading about this that I guess this character had appeared before and was living on Earth or something like that. So somebody was upset about the continuity of it, but doesn't really matter.
The number of people who can be upset about the continuity of the Golden Age Vision is literally just Roy Thomas. And I don't even think he has a reason to. It's just like he's the only person that's going to care enough about Golden Age villain or Golden Age Vision. Because Golden Age Vision is like when Roy Thomas made The Vision from movies, he wanted to just bring back Golden Age Vision. And Stan was like, no, alien stuff, that's outdated. We got to do something big and booming and for the 60s and for the kids. And what are they doing? And he said, we need to make him an android. We need to make a robot. We need to make him a robot. And
Good
then
choice.
Made him a robot.
Good
Honestly,
choice.
much better choice.
Yes.
Worked out really well. But like no one cares about Marvel Golden Age characters except for Roy Thomas. Not a one. No one.
No.
People are like, oh, the original Human Torch. He did one cool thing, and that was kill Hitler. And that's very cool. I'm
Very
not going
cool.
to disagree.
Good job. Keep that
Very
up.
good job killing Hitler. Golden Age Human Torch. No one's mad about that. But no one cares about Golden Age characters, you know?
No, but when they're pulled back, like, into modern continuity, like Dr. Nemesis or like this, like I do appreciate when people dig deep and find something and utilize that character in an interesting way. I think this issue, especially because it's a play on Watchmen, is interesting, and it's also talking about the decision making. Like all three of these issues are about David's kind of irrational decision making and how by trying to be different than his dad, he's actually doing a lot of the stuff that his dad did.
David is getting better. David's not well.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that gets a little lost when you think about X-Men Legacy. David's our protagonist, but he is making some boneheaded, stupid decisions. Now, should he have murdered Golden Age Vision? He doesn't like super fully murder him. He comic book murders him. So he's like, yeah, but you can resurrect this alien at any time if you want. But the alien did get radicalized by reading a racist book about essentially mutant replacement theory.
Yes.
And he's like, that sounds bad. We better stop that because he's an alien. So he's like very impressionable and stupid, like that's his character.
Yeah. We have talked about a couple of the arcs around or after this. The highest we have on the list is the end of this run, which is X-Men Legacy 300. We have that all the way up at 69. Nice.
No, we have at 59 for We Are Many, the actual end of the run.
Oh, right. Now at 288, we have the arc that comes after this, which I would say is better, which is Invasive Exotics.
It is, and it is interesting how much Invasive Exotics is being set up in these three issues.
Yes. Would you say that this is better or worse, though, than the two issues that come after that, Hope and Glory, which is down at 443?
This is better than Hope and Glory, which is like the British one.
Okay. So We know that we are in at the very lowest the 400s.
Yeah.
I don't know how high I would go. At 400 is Astonishing X-Men Unstoppable. At 399 is Gambit Volume 1.
I think we're in the right spot, though. I'll say that Unstoppable is kind of, the more I think about Unstoppable, the more I'm like, man, the John Cassaday art's really good.
It is. It
And
is.
the scene where Scott reveals that he was faking it all along and didn't really lose his power. That's good. And I do constantly think about Astonished Ms. Ms. Pride a lot because that's a very well written line. But plotting wise, that story's a friggin' mess.
Yeah, I think this is smart writing, but it's not the peak of where this goes. So like
It is. I agree.
I do think we're probably in the 400s, but in the high 400s.
I think we are. I think we can. I think we can do that. Like, okay, hold on, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yep.
This is better than X-Men Origins Jean Grey, right?
I would agree. This is better than that.
I kind of think this is better than The Invisible Woman Has Vanished from Peter David's X Factor.
I would agree. And at 401, we have the 2007 X-Men Annual.
That's the one where during the Mike Carey run, where they do
They fight Emplate.
no, it's not where they fight Emplate. You're
No, that's
thinking of his
Uncanny.
Legacy run. This is a different one where they like rescue North Star and Aurora from being
Oh,
weird, and then they fight some guy. I forget his name. It doesn't matter. This
well,
is
maybe,
better than that, though.
All right. So this is our new 401.
This comic's pretty good. I tell you what, folks, you should read X-Men Legacy. It's a comic that is super enjoyable.
I would say it holds up. It
would
really
say-
is a good run.
I would say
There's a
that there
couple of
are
questionable things in there in the first arc, especially.
there's some stuff that I don't love in it. As a whole, though, like the thematics of the book really work, and I think
Yes.
that's cool.
Yeah. Well,
That was a fun list. Thanks,
that was
Red.
good. Thank you, Red, for contributing. If people want to be like Red, what should they do, Zach?
Patreon.com/Battle of the Atom. You can throw money our way. It's okay. We like it. Sometimes I give Adam some. I'm kidding. I give Adam all of the money that we have agreed to in our relationship of doing this podcast together.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
It's like we share. It's wild.
Sharing is caring, Zach. That's the
Sharing
rumor.
is caring. It's like we do this together.
Yeah.
And that I literally would not do this with anyone else because that doesn't sound as fun.
No.
So much of this podcast is me hanging out with my friend Adam, and that's good for me.
So, Zach, other than hanging out in Wisconsin, what are you up to?
Nothing. I never do anything. I don't. I work again, and I've said this a lot. If you need commercial HVAC equipment, hit me up. I can get you any sort of dedicated outdoor air system that you need, and we'll be in really tight shape.
Great.
What do you got going on, Adam? You live a more interesting life than me.
Well, I will, as I usually do, just make sure people are checking out Comics XF. Continuing to cover Uncanny with our buddy Austin Gorton, who also, I believe this episode will have come out after Austin spoke at Uncanny Experience, but I am hopeful that some of you guys got the exclusive Austin Gorton trading card that I drew that he is handing out at Uncanny Experience. So hopefully if you were at that, you had a good time. That you
Hey,
scored
if you
one of
were at
those.
that, tell them you want us to be there. Like, we'll do it. It's not
Absolutely.
It's not like something I'm going to go do in my spare time, but like, what? I'll record a podcast there.
Absolutely.
I've got no problems with that.
No, it sounds like it's a fun time. So I hope you guys had a good weekend if you went to that event. The other thing is that, guys, this was episode 399, which means
Wow.
that next episode is 400. So please keep your eyes open on social media and the Patreon, because we are going to put out requests for Q&A for the 400th episode, because we want to open up the summer mailbag and answer some of your questions. So
Those are always fun.
make
People
sure you
give good questions. Don't ask garbage. Here's what I'm going to tell people. Be proud of the questions that you ask.
yeah.
Make sure they're questions that you are proud of.
Yep.
If you make me laugh when I read the question, that is a bonus. Adam will read all the questions, though, so I don't have to worry about it.
Well, Zach, we are not just answering Q&A. What are we doing next week or next time?
We're doing another re-ranking. Much like the Marvel Comics Ragnarok, Ragnarok is a cycle and continues and continues and continues at about 100 episode pace ish. If we feel like it, we'll see what happens in a year and a half.
So I guess we're doing a re-ranking.
Yeah, we're doing more. This is actually. Oh wait, no, you have 3 in there because this will be our third re-ranking.
It's the re-ranking.
We did one real early, like at 150 or somewhere around there. I feel like because we re-ranked Pizza Hut X-Men. We re-ranked, I don't know, something else.
Well, people are just gonna have to tune in to find out what we're re-ranking.
We're continuing. No, we've not re-ranked any story more than once.
That's true, but they don't know what we're re-ranking next time.
Hey, if you want to know what we're re-ranking, it's stuff that when we look at the list, we're like, man, what were we thinking that day? What was going on with us? So you can piece a few of those together. But until then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.